show. No derogatory speech, no intimidating actions, no possession or consumption of alcohol will be tolerated at athletic events. Please support all the participants and officials in a positive manner. Be loud, be proud, and especially be positive. Let's welcome the Bulldogs of Adrian College.
Loud and proud, you guys! Loud and proud! Please direct your attention to the center of the field for today's coin toss. Alma football! Alma football! Alma football! Alma football! Pump it up, guys! Pump it up! That's right.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Bahlke Field, the site of today's Alma College football contest between the Scots of Alma College and the Adrian College Bulldogs. My name is Zach Russo, joined by my partner Harrison Lalone. Got a great one for you today. The Scots come into this one at 6-3 overall, 3-2 in the MIAA. The Bulldogs of Adrian, 4-5 overall, 2-3 in the conference. Alma has not defeated Adrian in quite some time. 0-9, dating back to the last contest in 2006. Winners of their last two games, their last previous game
Against Trine.
against Trine. Thank you, Harrison. I'm just about ready to go here.
Trine was a fun game last weekend too. Scots got down early 23-0 and then managed to find their way back in a 41-33 victory that ended on a interception for a touchdown by Chris Luckhurst. The big name from last weekend would be Dylan Zabrowski. Ended up being the MIAA Player of the Week on offense. And we're just getting ready to start this football matchup with a kickoff from Jacob Plisco.
Ball falls off the tee as Adrian elected to receive. Again, mentioned that the Scots are 6-3 overall this season. The 6 wins are the most under head coach Greg Piscadna since 2006 for the program. If they were to win today and reach their 7th win, that'll be the most since 2004 when the Scots won the MIAA title. There is the kickoff received by Darius Fillon. Picked up at the 5 and brought down just past the 20-yard line where the Bulldogs will start. Starters for the Bulldogs today. Hunter Ham, number 16, is the quarterback. A freshman mans the offense. D'Angelo Gaines, a running back, number 2. Darius Fillon took the opening kick, number 3. Number 1 wide receiver on the team, along with Jaron McGaw and Tate Honeycutt. Joey Koshelski, a tight end, also a pass receiver, as that one is tossed out by Ham to the right side and caught. And there's the first catch for Fillon. Darius Fillon leads the Bulldogs with now 56 receptions, a little over 900 yards, probably about 912 after that last reception. 2nd and 5. Ham looks right, fires, and that one is caught. That's Tate Honeycutt, number 10. Takes that one out past the 40. Only Honeycutt's 3rd reception on the year. And it gains a first down, the first one of the game for Adrian. Ham hands it off to the running back, shakes a man, splits the defense, and he's brought down there. That's Colton Tyson on the tackle, and D'Angelo Gaines on the run. Gets the Bulldogs down to the Scots 40-yard line and another first down. Nice run by Gaines. He's shifty in the backfield.
And adding to him, we've seen a twin set of running backs that have ran all year too, with Kyle Nutter and David Nutter, both of which have been very effective for the Bulldogs this year, but neither one starting today.
Gaines getting his 3rd start of the season. And another rush here. Gains about 4. D'Angelo Gaines entered this game with just 42 carries for 138 yards. Also has 2 touchdowns on the year. This Adrian team will continue to work the running game if it is working for them. That is to say, if the offensive line is getting enough of a push on the stout Alma defensive line. Another handoff here. And looks like Gaines gets just past the first down marker. 3rd first down on this drive for Adrian as the Scots struggle to stop the so far balanced Bulldog attack. Five wide now for Ham. A freshman from Baytown, Texas, is Hunter Ham, number 16. Looking right to start, and that will be pass interference on Cody Coleman, it looks like, number 17.
Number 11, Jason Nystrom, I believe.
Defense, number 11. That's a spot foul, automatic first down.
So there you go, good call. Harrison, number 11, Jason Nystrom, another freshman from Linden, Michigan. It's an automatic first down for Adrian.
You know, you mentioned Hunter Ham being a freshman. The important thing for Adrian today is to be patient and to let him keep his composure in what is another important game for Adrian to try to get to 500 on the year.
Here is Ham faking a handoff. Now dumps it out to the flat. That is Jerron McGaw, number 82, slips down just shy of the first down marker. Jerron McGaw, second leading receiver on this team. That is his 49th catch of the year, just over 600 yards. Also 4 touchdowns. Gain of about 8 there as the Bulldogs will set up now on the Scots 15-yard line. Here's Ham with a pitch. That's Foster Walker, number 29. Gains a first down quite easily and gets inside the 10 to about the 9. First and goal now for Adrian, as they've been moving quite easily down the field.
And part of that has to do with Adrian's wide range in their playbook. You saw him a couple plays ago come out 5 wide empty set, and this last time had 2 tight ends and a fullback on the field.
Same set as last time with Darius Fillon, the receiver. They hand that one up the middle. Looked like gains on the carry, and he will gain a few there. Not quite to the 5. Mentioned some of the things, Harrison, that Adrian will have to do in order to be successful today, and that includes keeping Hunter Ham upright. Well, on the other side, Troy Game, 21.5 all-time sacks. 1 away from the all-time program lead and 11 this season, which leads the conference.
He ends up 1 sack away from Terry Callaghan, who graduated last year, and when we had the tandem of both of them, it was almost unstoppable. And now Troy is making up the difference.
That's a throw off the back foot of Ham. Caught for a touchdown, and you can see number 17, Cody Coleman, pleading his case to the ref that perhaps the receiver didn't get both feet down or juggled the ball somehow. It looks like the touchdown will stand. All you need is 1 foot. And the kick is good from Cameron Cook, junior out of Linden. So the Adrian Bulldogs push the ball down the field. Little resistance from Alma on their first defensive possession of the game. And they will look to reverse that fortune on offense. Chris Luckhurst and Danny Hugan back to receive the kick for Alma. Luckhurst 21, Hugan is 5. Danny Hugan leads the conference in yards per game and touchdowns, 103.2 yards a game and 8 touchdowns. Again, leading the MIAA. He also has 929 yards on the year, 71 yards shy of 1,000. That would be the 4th time in program history a receiver has eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark. They kick it to Hugan.
That's unusual.
He gets popped after trying to split the D, dropped at about the 35-yard line. You're right, Harrison. A lot of teams kick it to Luckhurst, facing the right side of the field here. They know the offensive threat that Hugan is with the ball.
Usually a team will purposely, anytime they can, avoid putting the ball in Dan Hugan's hands. So maybe this is their way of saying that they're not afraid of him today.
See if that continues.
So, familiar face in the backfield this week, Nick Sullivan. We've been missing him the past couple weeks, but has decided that he is ready to play today.
He's number 10 in the backfield along with Dylan Zaborowski, and Zab hands it to Sullivan, bounces it outside, tries to go through an Adrian player who makes the tackle. It's Robert Campbell, defensive back. Zaborowski with 3 receivers and Sullivan to his right. An option play, he keeps it. Comes close to a first down, about 2 yards short, across the 40 to about the 42. Five and a half minutes gone by, 9:20 now on the clock as it continues to tick. 3rd and 1 for Alma. 2 receivers split out to the left, and they will move the tight ends around a little bit. There's a handoff to Sullivan, and he gets just past the first down marker. Forward progress stopped at the 45. So nice job by Sullivan. Alma has a strong running game. Nick Sullivan, Dylan Zaborowski, quick on his feet as well as strong with the arm. Another handoff to Sullivan. Finds a hole. Nice blocking downfield. Trucks another man and gains another 5 yards after contact. It was a great block by Lars Murray, number 33, wide receiver. Had a nice seal on the wide receiver on the left side of the field, and that allowed Sullivan to gain a few more yards. A fake to Sullivan, and he should have likely handed it off to him as Zaborowski gets dropped in the backfield. First sack of the game, and that goes to Damon Fuller, one of the better linemen on this Adrian team. Fuller, 11 and a half sacks now on the year with that one. Leads the Bulldogs in sacks, and now believe also leads the conference. That was previously Troy Gain with 11. Clock ticking just under 8 minutes now. 2nd and 16 after the Zaborowski sack. Ball on the 45. Zab rolls out, looking deep. Has Lars Murray, and Murray lays out for it, but cannot come down with it.
Lars last week against Trine ended up with 119 yards, his career high, his first time getting over 100 receiving yards in a game. He has pretty dependable hands. You'd figure if he could have gotten that extra inch or two off the ground that's a catch there.
Lars, one of the 3 big-time receiving options for Alma. The others obviously being Danny Hugan and Essa Kella. Numbers 5 and 6 respectively. Is now it's a 3rd and long, 16 to be exact, from the 45. Down the middle. He finds his man right at the first down marker. Actually looks like about a half yard short. That is Murray running the in route. And the ball will be spotted at the 30-yard line. 4th and 1. Let's see what the Scots elect to do, and they're going to go for it. Jacob Plisco has been a nice surprise for the team this year. Kicker coming over from the soccer team. Zaborowski with a fake, keeps it, runs up the middle, and gains at least 10 on that. Takes it inside the 20 thanks to forward progress. Ball spotted at the 19.
You know, it's not too often a quarterback will decide to lower his shoulder and gain those extra yards, but that's something Dylan Zaborowski's done his entire career here at Alma, and that's something that is well respected in the locker room.
Junior quarterback of this team, started all 3 years he has been here. And he is the team leader in points this season. 13 passing touchdowns, 3rd in the conference. 11 rushing touchdowns, also 3rd in the conference. Tied with his teammate Sullivan, who takes the handoff there and gains about 4 down to the 15.
And now Sullivan, after carrying the ball out on the field, he will get subbed out for Caleb Reinhardt. Another nice surprise last weekend. Him and Grant Wilson both had over 100 yards against Trine.
Three wide receivers set, along with Wilson in the backfield. Reinhardt. Drags 2 tacklers a few yards down to the 10. Just under 6 minutes here as the Scots will face a 3rd and short. Ticking down to 5:45 now, and it will be 3rd and 1 at the 10-yard line. Fake again to the crossing Kella. And Zaborowski brought down in the backfield once more. And that is Damon Fuller again. Now 4th and 4, just under 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this first quarter. And here comes the kicker, Jacob Plisco. So Alma with a nice drive, a couple 3rd down conversions, including 1 4th down. And now this will be about a 31-yard attempt or so.
The important thing to note here is that we have a 15-mile-an-hour wind coming from the southwest. Wind will definitely be an issue for a young kicker.
Able to get that one to go, though, and he puts the Scots up on the board 7-3 after both teams each get 1 possession. Plisco now 7 of 8 on the year, longest of 33 yards. So he nearly tied that career and season long with that last one. And the Scots a good drive. They'll have to have the defense step up. There was, again, little to no resistance on the first offensive drive for Adrian. We'll see if there's any defensive adjustments to be made by head coach Greg Biscotti and the staff. Looks like Darius Fillon and Damon Fuller, as far as I could see from up here. Back to receive the kick for Adrian. Looks like a 21 on the far side. Definitely Fillon, number 3 on the near side, though. And Plisco back to kick at the 35 with 4:51 remaining in the first quarter. That is through the end zone and a touchback. Strong leg for Plisco, as it was actually Jacob Davis, looks like, back to receive the kick, not Damon Fuller. In any case, the Bulldogs will set up on the 25 as Hunter Ham and the squad comes back.
Here we go, coming out with a spread. They ended the last drive with multiple big men. Now we're spreading it out again to start this drive.
Handoff up the middle to Gaines. Gets past the first line of defense and gains about 5.
It's not too often you see a defensive end making that play 3 or 4 yards up the field on a run up the middle, but that's exactly what Troy Game does. And that's why he's so important to this defense.
Second and 6 now from the 29, 4:15 as the clock ticks. And this is Chittenden, number 37, forcing number 82, Jerron McGaw, to the outside. That'll be no gain as McGaw tried to turn the corner and Chittenden did not allow him. Chittenden, one of 10 seniors on the team. And one of 2 in the defensive backfield, along with number 2, Justin Thalen. 2 of the strongest members on the defense are the 2 safeties, along with Troy Game, number 88. Zach Peterson, 35, middle linebacker. As this pass to the near side, and that is caught by Fillon. He's working on number 27, Colin Smith, freshman defensive back.
Colin Smith, a name that we've already seen this season, as Justin Thalen was out for a game last weekend. Colin Smith was his replacement at free safety, but now is moved over to cornerback for today's game.
So Adrian converts their first third down. Go to a big set here. And the handoff is up the middle to Gaines. It goes off the right guard and gains about 6 up to the 45, where it will be 2nd and 4. Gains dropped by Colton Tyson. His 56th tackle of the season. Another one of these strong defensive players for Alma. Another big set here for Adrian. Handoff up the middle again. They're having success with the runs up the middle, and there is Gaines being dragged down once more by Colin Smith.
That last play, there was just some unfortunate timing with faking a blitz. Everybody standing up on the line, and as the ball was snapped, the linebackers were backing out of the way and basically creating the crease that was used to gain those yards.
First down now, 2:15 as the clock ticks down to end the first quarter. Here's Ham, the handoff. And Gaines is dropped after about a gain of 2 to the 46. Second down and 8 now for Adrian as we are under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Coming out back again in that 5-wide set. Scott's looking to take advantage of the less protection that is to be had in an empty set.
Yeah, keep an eye on number 40, Dustin Tripp, and 88, Troy Game. Quick pass comes out, and it's dropped by Gaines. Running a slant pass, and had a lot of room in front of him. Might have gotten too excited, did D'Angelo Gaines, and he dropped the ball, setting up a 3rd and 8 at the 46 for Adrian.
And now with 3rd and 8, you can expect Adrian to try to spread the ball out one more time. You can't expect him to come out in a huge running formation and hope that they get 8 yards or 9 yards on this play.
Although D'Angelo Gaines is averaging 7 yards per carry, I should say. That one's thrown off the back foot by Ham, and a little miscommunication between he and his receiver. Looks like that was intended there for Joey Koshelski, tight end number 43, and that will be a 3rd down stop for Alma, and that will force the first punt of the game. Connor Storms out for Adrian. That one is shanked. Might have been blocked. Sounds like it might have been Dylan Bergman who got a paw on that one. And that punt couldn't have gone more than 15 yards.
And that's unusual for Adrian's punter, Connor Storms, who averages just over 41 yards a punt this season.
And hasn't had any blocks. Be interesting to see if they credit Bergman with a block there, or if that was simply just a shank off the side of his foot.
Well, it doesn't help that the wind was directly in his face there as well, crossing the field towards the away sideline and also towards the north. So directly in the face of Connor Storms. Punting is going to be a big issue for him here again in the 3rd quarter.
1:11 on the clock. Scots will have the ball at the 32. They put 2 tight ends in motion once more, with 2 receivers lined up to the right side. Sullivan to his right, and the play is blown dead. Likely an offensive penalty, and it is. Delay of game. It's only the 43rd flag called on Alma this year. That's the fewest in the conference coming into this game, of 42 penalties for the Scots. That's also 35th in all of Division III.
That's one of two key areas that Alma's improved on this year over last season. One being the flags, and two being the turnover margin. They are doing much better this year than they were with their negative 27 mark in the margin last year.
Can't imagine to win a lot of games like that. Certainly have to take care of the ball. Sullivan gets it. Goes off tackle to the left side. Gains about 4, maybe 5. And gets back to the original line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 from the 32. Just under a minute remaining in the first quarter. And Alma will go no huddle here. Keep the same formation. Here's a rollout by Zab. Throws a little shy of Hugan, and he comes back, but does not make the catch. Ball hits the ground, and it sets up a 3rd and long at the 32.
That's Hugan's first target on the day. After the entire first quarter has been played, you wonder if eventually you will see more targets thrown towards Dan Hugan for the rest of this game.
Yeah, both teams having relatively long possessions, their first time out. With 41 seconds left, another rollout from Zaborowski. There's a man going deep, one going short, and that one through the hands of Lars Murray. Falls incomplete.
Murray's looking for a pass interference flag on that one. He's not going to get it.
Yeah, number 17, Chris Adams, sort of fell down there as Murray was ready to receive that pass, but incidental contact, I assume the referees would call there. And so here comes
Parrish Turberg.
Punting with the wind with 35 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Turberg, kind of a secret weapon here for the special teams. He came into this program as a quarterback, has been moved to wide receiver, and now has found his place as the punter on the team.
Averages 34 yards a punt.
It's a really nice bounce on that play.
The ball will be spotted at the 24 with 25 seconds left remaining. So certainly one more play coming in this first quarter before the teams switch sides. Perhaps a few more, given the nature of the next play. It is Ham and Gaines in the backfield, along with 3 wide receivers and a tight end. One step drop, he gets the ball out quickly to Fillon. Gains about 5. Clock ticking now at 10, and it does not look like Adrian will be able to get another snap off, and they will concede the end of the first quarter here. So after 1, it is Adrian 7, Alma 3. Both teams have had 2 possessions, and now the Bulldogs working on their 3rd. They've had success in the running game so far, as D'Angelo Gaines has 7 rushes for 49 yards. It's exactly 7 yards a carry, and his longest being 19 yards. Meanwhile, Hunter Ham 6 for 8, 51 yards and a touchdown. That one thrown to Jerron McGaw. On the other side of the field, Alma has had decent success with the run. Nick Sullivan 5 carries for 30 yards, his longest being 16. Dylan Zaborowski 4 attempts, 7 yards total, including an 11-yard run on a 4th and 1 that got the Scots down inside the red zone or thereabouts, which led to the Jacob Plisco field goal. Zab only 1 of 4 through the air, 15 yards. And that going to Lars Murray on a 3rd and long that set up his 4th and 1 run. Quarterback in the game now. So that is Stephen Millark.
The senior captain of the Adrian Bulldogs.
Replaces Ham. Looks like he'll stay in at least for one more play. He handed it off there to Gaines, who got the Bulldogs down to the 27. Good for 3rd and 3. Clark stays in the game. Hand off once more to Gaines, and Alma gets the stop. Just shy of the first down marker, which would be the 34-yard line. And they're going to place it just at the 34, it looks like. Or just shy, at least. With the nose of the football touching the 33, and that will force Adrian to punt. Second punt of the game upcoming for Connor Storms, who shanked the first.
And for a solid punter, now that the wind is in his favor, we should see this punt go much farther than the last one.
Chris Hinkle, number 86, back to receive the kick for Alma. That one is a pretty good one. Hinkle doesn't have to move very much. Takes it at about the 26. Looking to turn the corner, but cannot, and he's dropped by a number of Bulldogs, including number 33, Jordan Freemark. So Alma will start their third possession on their own 27. Now going toward the south end of the stadium with 13:23 remaining in the half. Lars Murray and Danny Hugan, the two wideouts on the far side of the field. Zaborowski in the backfield along with Nick Sullivan. Roll out to the right on the option, and that is Zaborowski. Gain of about 5 past the 30 to roughly the 32.
And now a little bit more urgency from the sideline from Daniel Warnick, looking to try to get a hurry-up tempo going for this offense.
Hand off to Sullivan, and he is stopped for no gain. 3rd and 5. Zab working with two wideouts here. Hugan on the far side, Murray on the near. Along with Sullivan in the backfield. And Nick Kozart, the tight end, number 47. It'll be a run by Zaborowski, and he cannot escape the swarming Bulldog defense. Drops him for a loss of 1 on the designed run, and that will likely set up a punt for Parrish Turberg after the 3 and out for Alma.
And this offensive line today, like it has been for most of the season, has been kind of a mix and match, moving different pieces around. We are still without Gus Vanderdonk, our usual starting left guard. Today, the occasional starting tackle, John Alosi's over at left guard, with freshman tackle Jacob Headley over at right tackle today.
Here's Jacob Davis, number 31, back to receive the kick from Turberg, and this one is a little bit of a knuckler, and actually the up man will take it. Looks like Kyle Bell, number 12, and he will down the ball at about the Adrian 49.
And there's that wind again I talked about earlier. Whoever ends up punting towards the south today will end up having a rough go.
Mentioned the offensive line for Alma before. Only 3.5 tackles for loss allowed per game. That's actually 3rd in all of Division III. Comes a corner blitz by Luckhurst, picked up nicely, but that allows a man to come in on the inside and drop the running back that looks like Wyatt Derrer. Actually, pardon me, that would be Foster Walker, number 29, with a gain of about 1, and Colton Tyson on the stop to bring the Bulldogs to about the 50-yard line.
It's interesting. That's the first time I've seen Chris Luckhurst out with the defensive squad today. He's been out on special teams, but that's the first time he's played corner today, and they just sent him on a blitz and then brought him back to the sideline.
Hunter Ham now back into the game. Rolls out to the right. And that pass is incomplete. Intended there for Tate Honeycutt,
And now with a 3rd and long, we're seeing a change from the big Joe Hernandez to the quicker Cameron Lee. And now he's coming back off the field as Nick Mangetz will take his place, looking for speed on the defensive line in what is going to be a passing situation.
So you've got Mangetz 55, Tripp 40, and Game 88 all on the defensive line, looking to get after the quarterback with no protection other than the offensive line in this 5-wide set. And there is number 94, Derek Ellis.
The one guy you didn't mention, he must have heard you not mention him there.
There you go. He got the initial pressure, and then Game came in to clean it up, and that's the first sack of the day for Alma. It's a 4th and 19 situation for Adrian at the 40-yard line, and they're forced to punt once more.
And depending on how they count that sack, Troy Game might be half a sack closer to Terry Calgon for the career number of 22 and a half.
Statistic crew will credit Ellis and Game each with a half sack, as this is a line drive punt. Fielded here by Chase Hinkle, makes a few men miss on the near side and gets out past the 35 to about the 37-yard line, where Alma will set up its 4th possession of the day.
And that will be the one issue with having wind at your back as a punter, is you have to be able to manage not out-kicking your coverage. If you give the returner 10 yards of space by the time he's caught the ball, that gives him more room to run, more room to make guys miss. And that's exactly what happened there.
Zaborowski set up with 3 wide, and Sullivan to his left. Kella and Hugan on the left side, Murray up top, and it's a handoff to Sullivan. Big hole up the middle. And there goes Sullivan trying to split the defense. But on the tackle there, on the last line of defense for Adrian, number 7, Eli Villalobos.
And that's why it's important to have some veteran experience on your offensive line, with right guard Ian Hickerson opening the hole for Sullivan there, and some nice patience there by Sullivan.
And a nice call as well. The Scots spread the defense out and give it to Sully up the middle, who had no problem exploiting the defense that time and get into Adrian territory. Ball's at the 42 now, and another handoff. This one to Caleb Reinhart, and he will get stuffed by a number of Bulldogs after a 3-yard gain to the 39.
You know, we mentioned it before last week, kind of proved that Alma doesn't need necessarily Nick Sullivan to do all the work. We have now a possible 3-back rotation with both Reinhart, Sullivan, and then also senior Grant Wilson.
Yeah, in last week's game, both Wilson and Reinhart went over 100 yards, averaging over 7 yards a carry for both of them, and each having actually a 50-plus yard run. And you mentioned earlier it was Caleb Reinhart's first career 100-yard game. He gets the handoff here, eludes a man in the backfield, and gets down to make it 3rd and short past the 35 to about the 33-yard line. That will set up 3rd and 1 as the clock ticks under 9 minutes now.
Yeah, I already mentioned him once this drive, but again, Ian Hickerson coming across the offensive line on a pull that led to open space for Caleb Reinhart to make it a 3rd and short.
Another 3-wide set for Alma gives them options. Those 6 men in the box for Adrian and 1 creeping in. That one nearly picked off, but he led Hugan nicely on the quick in route. That's a gain of about 6 or 7, and good for a 1st down. So nice job by Zaborowski, pardon me, Harrison, to fake the handoff that time and kind of hold the defensive end, and that allowed Hugan to gain some space.
You know, and a guy like Dan Hugan is a luxury that most quarterbacks don't get to have, but that is what we have here at Alma.
Arguably the fastest receiver in the MIAA, as Zaborowski fires into near double coverage there, intended for Lars Murray, and it falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 at the 25, 8:01 on the clock.
You know, and if you ask Dan Hugan, I don't think he would say it's arguable that he's the fastest man in the league. You know, we say that up here, but he's pretty confident in his abilities, and that's definitely something he brings to the table for this offense.
He's split out wide here again with Kella in the slot to his left and Lars Murray, the single receiver on the near side. Reinhart in the backfield. He gets the handoff and goes off center for a gain of about 3 to set up 3rd and 7 from about the 23-yard line.
Normally we could say that if this doesn't work out, then we are still in Jacob Plisco's kicking range. But with the wind the way it is today, I don't know if I could say that right now.
Sullivan comes back into the game. Same formation here, although Zaborowski in the pistol with Sullivan lined up directly behind him. Now Sullivan moves to Zaborowski's left. Provides some extra protection. And Zaborowski there looking for his tight end, Nick Kozart. Kozart trying to make a one-handed catch there, can't come down with it, 4th and 7.
And it looked like Kozart might have been having a hand fight there with the defender, and that's why he didn't get his left arm out fast enough to get a two-handed catch.
So they are going to at least look like they're going for it on 4th down and 7 here from the 22. Zaborowski has been known to pooch punt. See if that's in the cards here. It's not. It's a rollout to the right, getting pressured. Looking for Hugan. And that one falls incomplete. Strong defense there from the Bulldogs. Looked like number 4, Robert Campbell, on the defense there for Adrian and working on Hugan in that man-to-man set. So the second time the Scots have gone for it on 4th down, and the first time they have failed to get a conversion. Adrian will take over at their own 22 with 7:09 remaining in the half.
Yeah, and we can see the Scots go for it on 4th down multiple times today, especially with this wind. You could see Adrian doing the same.
Ham, the quarterback, as it appears. And this is a handoff to Gaines, trying to bounce it outside. He has enough speed to turn the corner, and he gains about 6, possibly 7. And that will set up a 2nd and 3 from the Adrian 29, just under 7 minutes to go in the half. Ham exits the field now, and looks like it is Millark back on the field.
And Adrian's actually had 3 different quarterbacks this year put up very similar numbers. Ham and Stephen Millark, as we've already talked about, and then also Gage Smith. They've all attempted nearly 100 passes, have roughly 55% completion percentage, and all have anywhere from 600 to 900 yards.
And there's a bomb on the right side to Phil on. He stays in bounds easily. And Adrian scores a 71-yard touchdown on the bomb from Millark to Philon. Philon entered the game with 906 yards and 5 touchdowns. You can add one more score to his tally. And 93 yards in the game thus far. Only needs one more to eclipse 1,000, and he would become the 2nd receiver in Adrian history to do so, should he. That one is good. 14-3 Adrian after the 2-play drive. And the Bulldogs take an 11-point lead on the road against Alma for their senior day. 6:26 on the clock, and Alma needs an answer on offense.
And that last play really shows you the one Achilles heel to Alma's defense this year is a very young secondary. It's happened multiple times this year where a pass has gone just past the 2nd level and ends up scoring a touchdown from a long distance. There's a lot of talent there, but we're going to have to wait, a season or 2 in order to see that develop and mature into the secondary that they believe that they have.
Yeah, the cornerback's very young, like you mentioned, Harrison, and also the backup safeties, obviously Chittenden and Thalen, both seniors, and they will be leaving after this year. Hugan and Luckhurst on the far and near sides. And it's a squib kick handled by the up man. Looks like Jonathan Alfaro potentially. Gunnar Lamb, pardon me, number 46. one of the lead blockers on the wall, so to speak, for either Hugan or Luckhurst, but after the squib forced to handle it. And the Scots will take over at the 37 with 6:21 remaining in the half. Been mostly going toward the running game today, and the Adrian defensive line has done a nice job of getting rushes out of Zaborowski. Not many straight drops for Zab, but here is a handoff to Reinhardt. Cuts it back to the right and gains about 5 on the play, nearly out to the 45-yard line.
And he, just like Nick Sullivan, he just portrayed this patience that's preached by both Riley Fisher, the running backs coach, and Drew Burton, the offensive line and offensive coordinator, of what they call pressing the heels. He keeps tight to the offensive line until a hole is created for him.
Flag on the play prior to the handoff to Reinhardt.
Ball start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And 76, that's Ian Hickerson. I just mentioned him on the last drive, being the veteran of the offensive line. This is definitely out of the ordinary for him to be flagged for any reason, especially a false start.
Mentioned Alma is one of the fewest flagged teams in all of Division III this year. 2 so far, and we're about 5.5 minutes away from halftime. Scots are backed up now to the 39-yard line, 2nd and 9. Caleb Reinhardt still in the backfield as Zaborowski works with a 3-wide set. Lars Murray, the lone receiver on the near side. Looking deep for Murray up the middle. Completes it in between 3 defenders. And Alma is down inside the 25-yard line. Fantastically placed ball there by Zaborowski. Placed it right in the basket of Murray as he cut in between the 2 defenders that were on him and the crossing safety from the far side of the field.
It's an unbelievable throw. Usually you don't want to see a decision like that being made by a quarterback to throw into triple coverage like that. But you have a dependable receiver in Lars Murray in the area, and then also Dan Hugan was within the area if something were to happen to the ball in the air.
So the bomb works for Alma just as it did for Adrian on their last possession. That's a handoff to Sullivan, who gets dropped at about the line of scrimmage. The 21-yard line, that is, and we're under 5 minutes to play in the half. 2nd and 10 now in this quickly paced first half. Scott's now working with 2 receivers as Murray comes in tight. The handoff is to Sullivan, who goes up the right side, where his 2 tight ends were placed, and that's a gain of about 3 possibly. Sets up a 3rd and 7 from the 18. This is about the same area of the field where the Scots were at last possession. They decided to go for it on a 4th and about this distance. We're under 4 minutes to play now. I wonder what the decision will be for Greg Piscotna and the squad should they not pick up at least 7 yards here. 3 receivers. Here's Zab looking left after Murray comes in motion. Left the whole way, and it is dropped on the in pass toward the middle of the field. That is Esekela, who, had he hauled that one in, would have been at about the 5-yard line. Strong defense there from Adrian to knock that ball away, and this will force a Jacob Plisco field goal attempt.
And even though he did just come to us this year from the soccer team, there is a lot of confidence from the coaching staff in Jacob Plisco's leg. We've seen him in practices make almost 50-yard field goals, so this shouldn't be that unbelievable of an attempt.
Although, as you mentioned, he is kicking into the wind here. Clock is stopped at 3:38 after the incomplete pass. And Plisco, on his 2nd attempt of the day, pushes it wide left. That only the 2nd missed field goal attempt on the year for Plisco, and that will set up the Bulldogs on about the 20-yard line with 3.5 minutes to work. Conversely, it also allows Alma to potentially get after the quarterback a little bit and set up their offense with decent field position as we approach halftime here.
The important thing here is damage control. You know, they got down early against Trine 23-0, and they showed that they can come back. The important thing is to make sure that that margin is still short enough that they can make the comebacks that they've done this season.
Well, down 11 here, and the Bulldogs, with a little bit of a spread offense, they hand it up the middle. And there is Gaines, stopped quite quickly.
Jacob Chittenden comes in with a very nice hit, stops any sort of forward progress that can be made by Gaines, and that's why he only gains 1 yard on that play.
So a 2nd and 9 now at the 21-yard line. 3:05 as the clock continues to move. And now 4 wide receivers for Ham. Setting up a wide receiver screen, instead dump it out to one of the perceived blockers. That's Joey Koshelski. Good for a first down across the 30-yard line. And the clock stopped now until the ball is placed. Now it's running at 2:50. Bulldogs not in too much of a hurry. They'll split out Gaines and Phil on to the right. And have a man in the backfield to the left of him, although he's unidentifiable right now. And there to block, looking for Gaines. And he makes the twisting catch over his left shoulder. And he is down at about the 39-yard line, 5 yards short of the first down. Another 4 wide set here for Ham and Adrian. Looks like Kuvon Tucker in the backfield. Actually, that would be Wyatt Derrer, and the pass comes to the near side.
And he's tipped down at the line by Dustin Tripp, a guy that a lot of coaches on the staff think can be the next replacement for Troy Game. There's been a sequence of guys. Last year it was Terry Callaghan. This year Troy Game. They're expecting Dustin Tripp to step into this role and perhaps challenge for those statistic numbers that, you know, Troy Game's challenging for this year.
Third down and 4 for Alma. Clock stopped at 1:55. Ball at the 39-yard line, and this is certainly a big play for the defense to try to force the turnover, or a punt, I should say. Here's a run to the right side. First down easily in past midfield now. Goes Wyatt Derrer, senior running back. Has been in the block the last 2 plays. They hand it to him, and he goes off tackle for a gain of at least 10 there, and now the clock will tick under 1:45 as it does, and Adrian in a little bit of business here. Looking deep, and that one just off the mark, intended for Gaines.
And Derek Ellis continues to make the moves on the defensive line that we see him do week in and week out. He just came in basically untouched, right in the face of quarterback Ham.
Bulldogs looking at the sideline, waiting for the call. Looks like they'll have 4 wide receivers once more, and that includes D'Angelo Gaines, who has been working out of the backfield for the majority of this game. Still in the game at running back is Wyatt Derrer. To the left of Ham. 2 receivers on each side. Ham looking up the middle. Throws that way, and that one through the hands of the jumping Fallon. Defended there by Jacob Chittenden. And forces another 3rd down and long.
I think we're going to see a foot race on the defensive line here on this play on a 3rd and 10 to see who can decide that they want to get to Hunter Ham first. Any one of these 4 could do it.
Only 3 men on the D-line. Game is backed off right now. Comes in looking to potentially rush, and he is. That one nearly picked off, intended for Fallon.
Broken up by number 27, Colin Smith. The freshman who had been coming in replacing for Justin Thalen here the last couple weeks. Got moved over to corner today. and has done pretty good job covering some of these better receivers of Adrian.
Absolutely. Said his name a few times now and called once more on that pass breakup there, and that will force a punt from Adrian with 1:23 on the clock. Connor Storms getting ready to unload this one. And it is taken there by Henkel at the 6. Splits the defense for a second, then gets dropped just past the 15-yard line. And the Scots will set up at the 17 with 1:19 remaining.
You know, normally you'd hear coaches saying in that situation, you know, he caught it at the 5-yard line. Usually the punt returner is supposed to move out of the way, let the ball bounce into the end zone. But there you could see Adrian's punt coverage was very close to the ball at the get-go. Henkel decided to make a very aggressive decision to return it, but had he not, they'd be down inside the 5 right now, most likely.
Be interesting to see whether the Scots try to attack the Adrian defense here, or if they just run it into the teeth of the defense. Only a 5-man box with one creeping in. And they will hand it off to Sullivan. Big hole. And he gains about 9, but the clock will tick. It's now at 1:13. Although it is stopped, it appears someone has called a timeout. Suppose not a clock malfunction. Actually, a first down has been given. So that would explain the clock stoppage. Here, Zaborowski on first down is forced to roll out of the pocket and runs out of bounds after a gain of about 4. A spill here on the near sideline as a couple players go tumbling over. First, another player on the sideline and then on a bench. Zaborowski was involved in that, but he looks to be okay. 58 seconds remaining in the half, and Alma will have a 2nd and 7 from the 31-yard line.
Sullivan got saved. He ended up landing on defensive tackle Joe Hernandez. If there's anybody on this team to land on, he's probably one of the safer bets.
Three wide receivers set here for Zaborowski. Looking deep on the right side, and 10 instead goes short. And that one is one-hopped into Esekela. Now be 3rd and 6 from the 31 with 54 seconds left. And Alma in an interesting spot here. Likely have to go for the first down as opposed to running down the clock. Adrian, you would expect would just take a timeout that way and get the ball back with about 45 seconds or so left. So here is Zaborowski. Looking right, that one looked like it might have gotten tipped, but caught anyway by Hugan on the quick in route and gains enough yardage just for the first down out to the 38-yard line with the clock stopped at 48 seconds. And Alma obviously in a no-huddle offense. The clock now ticking towards 40 seconds. Zaborowski bounces, looks like deflected that time by a Bulldog player, number 4, Robert Campbell, who was playing man-to-man defense on Danny Hugan. Pass falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 from the 38 with 38 seconds left.
Yeah, they're going to have to take more shots downfield than they have been so far. Getting it 8 to 10 yards at a time just won't cut it with how little time's left in the half.
Perhaps trying to get a little closer in order to attempt that bomb. See what kind of routes they're running here. And that one is knocked out of the hands of Zaborowski. The ball is loose at about the 22-yard line. Looks like the ball was recovered here by Alma. No exact signal here from the referees, although on the far side, the down marker is set up at 3rd, although here comes the Alma offense off the field after Adrian calls a timeout with 24 seconds left.
It looks like it's going to be recovered by Nick Sullivan on that play. He was the one Scot that was within the region to recover that fumble, and that's why we're going to see a dangerously long 3rd down.
So it is a 3rd down for Alma, 3rd and 26 at their own 21-yard line with 24 seconds left.
The thought process here for Adrian, call this timeout, hope that the Scots come out and decide that they want to run the ball, take a couple yards, call one more timeout, get the ball back with about 20 seconds left, and with the wind the way it is, Adrian could get the ball inside the 50 to start their next drive.
All right, turn on the music. They're going to have to reset the game clock. Turn on the music.
Adrian back on the field, and here comes Alma. And the referees will reset the game clock, looks like to 26.
26 seconds on the game clock. Thank you.
Thank you. You got to watch out. The music overrode the official the first time.
So 3rd and 26 from the 21 for the Scots. Zaborowski sets up with 3 wide, and it looks like Reinhardt is in the backfield. And it's a handoff. Stopped easily by a number of Bulldogs. As Reinhardt gets back to the original snap of the ball. Actually gains 1 yard, so says the scoreboard operator, up to the 22. So it'll be 4th and 25 after Adrian takes another timeout. And they will get the ball back with roughly 15 seconds left in the half.
And this is exactly what Adrian was looking for here, calling that last timeout, now calling this one, is that now they have 1 timeout. They have the chance for maybe 2-3 plays going towards field goal range, get themselves a 17-3, or if they're really optimistic, a 21-3 lead going into halftime.
And you have to figure with the wind going in the face of Parrish Turberg, the punter here, you have to imagine Adrian's going to get some pretty good field position here.
Absolutely.
Jacob Davis, junior out of Davison, back to receive the punt from Turberg. Davis is positioned at about his own 47.
And number 12, Kyle Bell, sitting at Alma's 40.
After a low snap that Turberg had to take on the hop, the punt was fair caught by Davis at about Alma's 47 with 19 seconds remaining in the half.
And now they have as many as 4 possible plays to get themselves into decent position to get themselves one more scoring opportunity before halftime.
Only 1 timeout, so obviously if a pass is completed in the field of play, only 1 opportunity to stop the clock unless they want to use some spikes. And also, the clock stops on any first down until the referees place the ball. Four wide receivers for Hunter Ham. Looking to the right side, passes to Philon. Shakes a man, then stiff arms another. It's a foot race to the end zone. He's got a blocker in front of him, and Philon scores. 47-yard touchdown. That took only 11 seconds. A little bit of a dangerous move, at least you would think, to start with Philon cutting back to the inside. But he was able to shake 2 initial tacklers and stiff arm another. And he had a blocker coming up the right side in D'Angelo Gaines that led him into the end zone.
And that catch will put him over that 1,000-yard mark on the season. He only needed 1 yard there, but went ahead and got 46 more.
Darius Philon, 4 receptions. And pardon me, I think this is before the before that last touchdown reception.
Touchdown counts. After the play, much more like conduct. Number 3 on the scoring team. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the extra point.
So an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Philon after scoring that touchdown.
And this is an interesting choice. You don't see it very often. The 15-yard penalty could have been assessed on the extra point, as Greg Piscadna chose, or he could have had 15 extra yards on the kickoff.
So possibly forcing a miss here. And that one is a low kick, and it's blocked. That would be Derek Ellis on the block and recovered by Adrian, but no matter there. Score remains at 20-3. And there you go. Seems like Piscatna made the right choice.
You would think so. With it being a block, you could make the case that they would have blocked it at the 2 or at the 17. But, goes down in the stat book as a missed extra point. So, the penalty sets it up to have one less point than there should have been there.
And perhaps the kicker, Cameron Cook, there for Adrian. I mean, that was definitely a low kick. And you have to imagine perhaps the wind might have played a factor. You don't want to get so much air under the ball from this distance with the wind blowing as hard as it is, as the wind can make the ball do some funky things in the air. So it's possible that he might not have kicked it as low had the extra point been from the 2 as opposed to the 17. But again, in any case, Piscatna wins that battle. 20-3 going into what we believe is going to be going into the half. 8 seconds left as Luckhurst and Hugan are back to receive the kick. They've already kicked to Hugan once, and he returned it out to the 20. Here's another squib, same as the last one, fielded by an up back and taken past the 40-yard line.
Again, it looks like Gunnar Lamb may have gotten the ball there. And 2 returns in a row, he's lowered his shoulder and shown that he can run the ball, which is very interesting from one of our younger linebackers.
Two seconds to go. The ball will be placed at almost 44-yard line, and you have to imagine Zaborowski will be taking a knee. Lined up way in the backfield is Hugan, and that will do it for the first half. So Alma goes into the half, down 20-3, moving the ball pretty nicely on their first possession until they reached the red zone, had a 4th down conversion on that first possession, and really unable to do much else outside of, as I said, that first offensive possession they had.
And having the defense out on the field as much as it was here in the first half, that's why there's been 20 points put up on the board for Adrian. The speed that they have outside against a defense who's most likely tiring at this point in the first half. Fallon almost looks like the fastest player on the field right now. So to have a defense that's tiring out on the field more than half of the game so far, that could prove to be detrimental for the Scots today.
Absolutely. So as we enter the half, some quick individual stats. Just before the special presentation here by the band, Dylan Zaborowski, 4 of 13, been sacked 3 times, and Nick Sullivan, 10 rushes for 65 yards. Alma, 8 first downs to Adrian's 11.
That stat line for Nick Sullivan is not out of the ordinary. What makes it out of the ordinary today is that he hasn't played the past couple weeks with an injury. We weren't sure if he was going to get to play at all today, but instead he got 10 carries for 65 yards here in this first half.
So Harrison and I will take a break during the extended halftime here, 25-minute halftime, as the Scots will run through a myriad of presentations here. First, looks like this is the cheer and stunt team along with the band, and also a presentation from the United Way. So we will step aside and be back to bring you the rest of the action in the second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for your 2016 Alma College National Qualified Student Athlete. At this time, please direct your attention to the track for a special presentation from the United Way.
My name is Ellie. I'm the Director of Development for United Way of Gratiot at Bella County. I've got Sam Hargraves here with me today, who's the men's basketball coach here at Alma College. And I have Scotty supporting our
With the university,
Bahlke Field. Scots trail the Adrian Bulldogs 20-3 following the first half, and first half of poor offense, I suppose, for Alma. Only three penalties for Alma. Average 3 coming into the day. Also 3 for 10 on first down. Dylan Zaborowski 4 of 13 through the air. He's got a few runs, 8 for 26. Also a number of sacks, 3 of them to be exact. Nick Sullivan solid on the ground, 10 rushes, 65 yards. Caleb Reinhart has been spelling him, 6 rushes for 24 yards himself. That's good for 4 yards a carry. And on the other side of the field, Adrian, most of their quarterbacking has been done by Hunter Ham. He's 9 of 16 with 2 touchdowns, 116 total yards. Darius Fillon through the air has been the main.
He's been basically everything for the Bulldogs, to be completely honest.
There you go. 2 long touchdowns, including one from senior quarterback Stephen Millark on a 71-yard bomb. And then another one of the little bit of a shorter variety from Ham to get to 140 yards on the year and surpass the 1,000-yard mark for the season. Only the second Bulldog to do so in their program history. Also, D'Angelo Gaines, running back for Adrian, 11 rushes, 59 yards, good for just about 5.5 per carry. Adrian has been essentially doing what they want on offense, and Alma, conversely, has been struggling, having a decent time on the ground, not so much through the air.
Yeah, and that's a struggle that the Scots have had on and off all year. Dylan Zaborowski completes somewhere around 50% of his passes today, is definitely below par, but you'll see the second half maybe turn around for this passing game for the Scots.
In fairness, Zaborowski has been sacked 3 times and has been pressured quite a bit on each one of his 13 dropbacks. So here is Luckhurst on the near side, number 21, Danny Hugan, number 5, back to receive the kick. It will go through the end zone for a touchback, and Alma will start at their own 25-yard line. See how Alma opts to attack the Adrian defense.
I see the major adjustment for this half being to get the ball into Dan Hugan's hands a lot more than they did in the first half. He only had 2 catches for 16 yards. He was only targeted one other time. Getting the ball to Dan Hugan will be the most important part for the second half for the Scots offense.
He split out wide to the far side with Esekela in the slot. Here's a fake, and the pass is low, but caught by Hugan, running the quick in, gain of about 5.
You know, it doesn't look like much, but 5 yards at a time will get you first downs, will get you touchdowns, really. So this is exactly what the Scots offense needs to be doing, getting the ball to the speed on the outside with Hugan and then also with Esekela.
It also helps to get the ball out of Zaborowski's hands quickly, as on the longer backdrops and the rollouts, he's been getting pressured from the defensive ends of Adrian. 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, with Caleb Reinhart to Zaborowski's right, looking deep on the right side to Hugan, and he finds a soft spot in the zone. At about the 46-yard line, he goes out of bounds, good for a first down.
So now you accompany getting the ball out quickly for the offense with an up-tempo. It will leave Adrian to run more simple sets, be in their base defense more often. They'll be more predictable to read for Zaborowski going forward.
Here's Hugan lined up on the near side. 2 catches in the first minute of this half, as he had 2 catches in the entire 30-minute first half. Zaborowski looking over the middle, forced to abandon the pass and attempt to run, but he will get stopped 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. That should be his 4th sack of the day.
And this is the struggle of a youthful offensive line that they've seen all year. This is a little uncharacteristic for them to be already giving up 4 sacks in this game, but it's not something that we couldn't see from a young offensive line.
Only 9 sacks allowed entering the day. It's 23rd in all of Division III, and they've reached nearly half that mark. There's a 3-step drop for Zaborowski over the middle, and that pass falls short of his intended receiver, Nick Kozart. Tight end ran an in route right at about the sticks of the first down marker. It'll be 3rd and 11 from Alma's own 45-yard line.
We're going to see some one-on-one coverage over here on the near side for Dan Hugan. Look to see if somebody can take advantage of that.
With help from the safety, but the 5th sack of the day as Zaborowski gets dropped by number 92 for Adrian. Jacob Smith on the tackle.
Listen, if you don't have a number, let me know because it'll come up on ours, okay?
Sheet we have here has Jacob Smith on their JV squad. Does not have a number for us. Today he's wearing 92 for the varsity squad for Adrian.
So way to go, Jacob Smith. Picks up the sack, forces a punt from Terberg. And that one is fair caught by Adrian's Gage Smith, it looks like. 3rd string quarterback.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's the other number 12 here, Zach. Kyle Bell, a defensive back from Lake Orion.
That might be a good bet, Harrison.
Adrian, we were warned before the game that Adrian has multiple players wearing the same number because they have such a large roster. So usually when you have 2 players of the same number, they cannot be on the field at the same time, but can both play in the same game.
Here's Stephen Millark, number 5, setting up a quarterback in a big formation, only 1 receiver. Millark has had 1 attempt and 1 completion. Hands off here to D'Angelo Gaines. That's his 12th carry of the day, and it's good for about 3 yards. Millark's only completion of the day was a 71-yard pass to Darius Fillon, who had one-on-one coverage and beat his man for the 2nd score of the day.
And for the sake of Millark's quarterback rating, which we don't normally keep up with here in Division III, but for the sake of his quarterback rating, you almost don't want to pass again. 1 for 1 for 71 yards and a touchdown. That rating is sky high.
He'll be safe on this play as he's on the sideline. Hunter Ham, number 16, back in the shotgun. 3 receivers, including Darius Fillon on the near side. Instead, it's a handoff up the middle. And that's Foster Walker with his 3rd carry. His 4th carry of the day. Gets out past the 45-yard line to not quite the 46, and that'll be a 3rd down and short.
Zach Peterson, we haven't gotten to say much about him today, but he was the one that met the running back here in the hole and then was eventually helped by 3 or 4 other Scots. And that's something that's been preached all year, is the swarming of the defense.
Zach Peterson, 88 tackles entering the game, 2nd in the conference. Also 9.8 tackles per game is 53rd in all of Division III. That's a quick pass out to the Adrian receiver, Jerron McGaw. Good for a 1st down. The 1st down marker was at about the 46. And this one goes to just past midfield, but we'll mark it at the 50. Just under 11 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter here as Adrian has set up a decent drive. Three receivers. Ham fakes the handoff, looking deep. Single coverage on the far side against Colin Smith. And Smith with the tight coverage and the overthrow falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 from midfield coming up.
We mentioned him a lot today, Colin Smith. He's been very consistent so far today, and he looks to be one of those, bright freshmen for the secondary that we've been talking about today. Him and Jason Nystrom both, we can expect them, they're good talents now, but as they mature, they will become focal points for this defense.
4 receivers, 1 running back for Ham. It's a wide receiver screen out to McGaw on the near side. The blocking is there, and McGaw gains about 8 on the play to set up a 3rd and short as we approach 10 minutes remaining in the quarter.
And with the way Adrian's been running the ball, it would not surprise me to see them just run here on 3rd and 3 or 4.
D'Angelo Gaines averaging just over 5 yards a carry, as long as being a 19-yard run. Swing pass out to Gaines. Here comes 3 defenders, and he's dropped short of the first down marker at about where the ball was snapped. It'll be 4th and 4 at the 43, and Adrian will be forced to punt on its first possession of the second half. Chase Hinkle back to receive the kick. It'll be his 4th attempt. He's set up at the 10. Connor Storms has averaged 41 yards a punt, and this one bounces at the 2 and into and out of the end zone for a touchback. Alma will set up at its own 25.
You know, and Hinkle showed something that is kind of new in football the past couple years. Kick returners looking like they're about to catch the ball where they're standing, and then the ball flies over their heads. It's a very smart, disciplined strategy to get the punt coverage guys to not know where the ball actually is, and that's how it ended up as a touchback.
So actually at the 20 here with 9:05 on the clock. Alma down 20-3, and haven't had much offense going for them since the first possession of the game. Here's Sullivan. Fakes the handoff. Zaborowski keeps it up the middle, and he gets stopped after a gain of about 3. Inside 9 minutes now. No one covering Lars Murray quite yet. Now a cornerback is going out to defend him.
Leaving him a lot of space.
Zaborowski not looking in that direction. Instead, opts for Hugan. Makes the jumping sideline catch right in front of the safety coming over to play. That was Eli Villalobos, who was a step behind Hugan. Now Hugan out to the far side after the first down catch. Scott set up exactly at midfield as we approach the 8-minute mark in the quarter. It's a handoff to Sullivan up the near side. Tries to turn the corner and gains about 3 with a host of Bulldogs swarming to make the tackle. Another 3 wide receiver set. Nick Cozart in as the tight end, along with Sullivan to Zaborowski's left. Looking deep for Hugan up the right side. He beats his man, and he's out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. That's Hugan working on Robert Campbell. He's a freshman. And Hugan had at least a step on him. Zaborowski put that one right over Hugan's shoulder, and he made that catch quite easily. 1st and 10 at the 20.
You know, we're seeing more production for the offense this half, and go figure, it is through Dan Hugan. Mentioned earlier he only had 2 catches in the first half, and here he is getting multiple already in the third quarter.
Four catches in this half for Hugan. Zaborowski looking that way again into double coverage. Hugan trying to make the jumping catch over Campbell, but cannot do it, as Villalobos, number 7, was there to also defend the pass. Hugan again, 6 receptions, 91 yards overall on the day. Only 2 receptions for 16 yards coming into the half. And there's an injured Bulldog down on the field with 6:59 on the clock, and the Scots about to set up for a 2nd down and 10 at the opposing 20.
Alright, hey Joe. Joe, bring the volume up down.
Back under just 7 minutes to play. Here's a handoff to Reinhardt up the left side, and he's dropped. Might have gained a yard. In any case, it will be 3rd and long. So Danny Hugan with that last reception has gone over 1,000 yards for the year. He is the 4th Scot to do so in program history. Only needed 71 yards to eclipse that mark. And he's at 1,020 at this point. Have to imagine who'll be the go-to target as we approach 6 minutes remaining in the quarter here. He's lined up on the left side. Beats his man, although there's a safety up top looking for him. Zaborowski trying to escape the pocket. Got a man open. Instead, he opts to run for it. Escapes the pressure, and he is down at about the 5-yard line, setting up 1st down and goal for Alma. Nice bit of improvisation there by Zaborowski.
And that's something we used to see a lot out of him the past couple seasons. Not as much this season. Maybe he's trying to be a little bit more protective of himself, but that's something that they were really, really excited about for him as a quarterback the first couple years he was here.
So Zaborowski took the snap as Adrian was rushing some guys off the field. Obviously, Alma wanted to catch Adrian in a too many men on the field situation, but it appears the Bulldogs have called a timeout prior to that, so the clock stopped at 5:55, and Alma will have the ball 1st and goal at the 5. Zaborowski looking for an explanation here from one of the referees. He had the ball in his hands, so he took the snap. You have to imagine that's what he's discussing with them. Why wasn't it a flag on the defense for having too many players? You have to imagine Hugan will be the go-to guy in this red zone situation, although the defense has to know that as well.
And that's the dangerous thing with targeting the same guy multiple times in one drive. You can't get into a routine just trying to throw to the same guy multiple times. You'll end up getting burned.
He set up one-on-one against Robert Campbell on the right side of the field. Lars Murray on the near side, although 2 defensive players in his area. It's a fake to Sullivan, roll out to the right, and the pass over the middle to the crossing Murray falls incomplete.
That was Jacob Shields going over the middle in the back of the end zone there. Had that been Lars Murray, I kind of figure the hands that Murray has, that would have been a touchdown there. Jake Shields doesn't get too many targets. But that's not to say that he's not a pass catcher as a tight end.
Yeah, 83 set up as a tight end as opposed to 33 as a wideout. So here is another pass play. As Sullivan is split out. Actually, it's a designed run as Zaborowski goes to the left, and he is stopped at the 4-yard line. Forward progress will give him perhaps a yard. In any case, it'll be 3rd down as the clock will tick to about 5 minutes and 30 seconds now. Scots will set up with 3 receivers. Little bit of a stack to the left. And here comes Kella in motion. Fakes the handoff to him, does Zaborowski. Rolling to the right. Kella's got some space in front. Instead, Zaborowski throws a pick in the end zone. Taken out of the end zone and returned to the 5-yard line by Adrian. Tough play there for the Scots. Zaborowski pressured out of the pocket, needed to roll to his right. And had he even dumped it off to Kella, who had some space in front, have to imagine that the defense would have closed in time. But in any case, Adrian, after the interception, is set up deep in their own end. They'll have the ball on the 5-yard line with 5:02 remaining in the quarter and up 17. Looks like Millark is back in the game at quarterback. It's a toss to the running back. Gaines finds a hole, now trying to cut back, but he's stopped by Zach Peterson after a gain of about 8. Approaching 4.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. Adrian will have a 2nd and 1 from their own 14-yard line.
And with how well their running game's doing, it would be hard to imagine them doing anything else for almost the remainder of this game with the way the score is.
Another run here, though he is stopped by Chittenden coming up from the safety position. That'd be Gaines again on the carry. Stopped behind the line of scrimmage, loss of 3. Third and 4 now from the 11 for Adrian as we're under 4 minutes to play. Millark sets up in the pistol. Free rush for Tripp, but the pass is completed. And forward progress will get the Bulldogs a first down. Ball placed at the 15, and it will be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Only Millark's 2nd pass of the day has come in for perhaps 10 snaps now, maybe a little fewer than that. Most of them have been rushes. There is full-on one-on-one coverage on the near side. Still a run to Gaines. Tries to gain the left corner, but cannot. Stopped maybe a foot across the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and there's Colton Tyson again. We've mentioned him a few times today. There are a couple games this year that he didn't even get the start. They liked Dallas Reeser in a couple different matchups. But Colton Tyson, the upperclassman, getting his role and doing very well in it so far today.
Another timeout on the field as there's a Bulldog down.
So while we have this time, we have some scores from around the MIAA today for football. At Hope against Concordia, Wisconsin, up 17-6 in the middle of the 3rd quarter. Close one at Olivet, playing at Olivet. 6 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Olivet is up 30-27. And then Albion playing at Kalamazoo, kind of a cellar dweller game today. Kalamazoo is up 20-10 early in the 3rd quarter.
Again, Alma coming into this game 6-3 overall, 3-2 in the conference. Their 6 wins is the most under Greg Piscadna in his 6 years here, and the most since 2006. Should they come back and win this game, the Scots will have 7 wins, the most since 2004 when they won the conference title. And they will have reached 7 wins for just the 13th time in program history. Also, another interesting number, over 2,000 rushing yards this season, 2,055. That's the 5th time in school history Alma has eclipsed that mark. And the most since 1984 when the team ran for nearly 2,300 yards. In addition, they're averaging over 225 yards a game, 228.3 actually. That's 3rd in the conference and 31st in all of Division III, and they're struggling today, having a little bit more success through the air, at least as of late. Here's Adrian with a 5-wide set. Hunter Ham back in. That pass is dropped. Never fully controlled, it appears, by Fillon. And they'll give a pass break up to Zach Peterson on the play, who was in coverage. 3rd and 10, 2:42 left in the 3rd quarter. Ball spotted at the 15-yard line for Adrian. We'll come out with 3 wide and 1 back. Low snap and pressure coming. And that one over the heads of 3 Scots. And also the intended target for Ham, number 43, Joey Koszelski.
And senior Justin Thalen was within inches of getting his 10th interception, I believe, in his career. So now that wind playing a factor again. Hinkle back much further than he normally is.
And Alma got pretty close on that one. Here's Hinkle taking it at the 44, makes one man miss, now trying to gain the outside and can't. Perhaps gains 2 yards on the return out to the 46-yard line. So Alma had success on the last drive going to Hugon quite a bit. I have to imagine he'll be double coverage somehow, perhaps with a safety over the top if they choose to continue to run these long routes that they have him running. Perhaps that'll open things up underneath in the short passing game, or maybe they want to continue to run the ball like they had in the first half.
Well, what that'll do mostly, if Adrian decides to adjust to Dan Hugon getting the ball as much as he has been, is that'll open up for Lars Murray. He would be the next favorite target for Zabrowski that isn't Sullivan coming out of the backfield.
3 wide set, all lined up on the left side with Kella in the slot. Zabrowski looking that way, and Hugon comes back for it. It's a first down. Goes into the teeth of the defense now and gets thrown down inside the 40-yard line at about the 39.
And that's the incredible part about Hugon. You know, we talked about Adrian's going to try to adjust, try to double cover him, try to get him into some tighter situations, and yet he's such a good route runner that he can get himself open anyway.
We're approaching the 2-minute mark in the third quarter. Here's Murray in motion, blocking for the rolling Zabrowski, and Zab will force the defense to collapse on him as he runs out of bounds for a gain of about 4, perhaps 5.
Yeah, that's been the only option they've really had today on those rollout plays. Adrian's done a very good job of shifting coverage to avoid getting decent throwing angles for Zabrowski.
They stick with the same formation but reverse it as the ball's on the near sticks. Another rollout for Zabrowski. Got a man over the middle, it's Hugon. And a roughing the quarterback penalty will come after Zab misses Hugon on the quick button hook pass.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 37. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
It's Angus Arthur, sophomore linebacker. Gifting Alma 15 yards. And that will bring them up just into the red zone at the 19-yard line with 1:38 remaining in the quarter.
Yeah, and this is the offensive production that we did not see in the first half that we're seeing now. And it's going to make it a lot more optimistic here going into the fourth quarter for the Scots.
Looking right the whole way. Off coverage being played by the defense on Hugon, and that's a mistake. Takes the quick pass and gains about 10 more yards after the catch. And that'll set the Scots up inside the 5-yard line, right at the goal line.
And now this situation is why they like to have Nick Sullivan back today.
And that one is over the head of Zabrowski on the snap, and he will fall on the ball at the 14. So just as the Scots were in business, they're back where they were just a few plays ago. 2nd and goal now from the 13-yard line as we approach the 1-minute mark in the quarter. Another 3 wide receiver set with Kella in the slot. He's looking for Kella, and he comes down with it. Touchdown, Scots, the first of the day. And that will potentially cut the lead in half. Right now it's 20-9. Asa Kella's first reception of the day, his 28th of the year, also his 4th touchdown of the season as he has now eclipsed 300 yards on the year. Averages about 11 yards a reception. And that was a 13-yard one from Zaborowski. Plisco's kick is good, and that will cut the lead in half. 20-10 now with just under 16 minutes remaining in the game.
And this is exactly the kind of drive that the Scots were looking to have. First half, a lot of struggles on the offense, and even after the high snap caused what could have totally ended that drive, you know, they're overcoming some of these mistakes that they're making.
And Zaborowski, the last time down this far in the field, through the interception on the far side of the end zone, now finds single coverage on Kella, who ran the outpost route and was able to connect with him for the 13-yard touchdown. Jacob Davis and Darius Fillon back to receive the kick from Plisco. Adrian will have some time before the end of the third quarter where they will flip sides, and the wind will be in their face once more as it was in the first quarter. The kick is to Davis, who takes it at about the 12, hurdles over a man and then gets dropped. And still down is Fillon, favoring that right leg. Fillon off the field now, it appears. Bulldogs will have it, 1st and 10 at their own 26. 48 seconds to go in the quarter. This is Hunter Ham. Handoff goes to Gaines up the middle. And Gaines gets about 2 yards on the play out to the 28. Clock just now ticking under 30 seconds in the quarter. And it looks like the Bulldogs will get another play off, or at least they'll try to. Millark comes back into the game now, replacing Ham. Under 20 seconds left now. Big set here, as it usually is when Millark enters. They will toss it to Gaines. Big hole on the left side, closes relatively quickly, and he is dropped by, looks like, Chris Luckhurst, along with a number of other Scots, as we have reached the end of the third quarter. Once the two teams switch sides, Adrian will have it, 3rd and 4 at their own 33-yard line. Adrian 4 of 10 on third downs. And this will be an important one coming up for Alma to get this stop. Look at the stats for both teams. They're pretty similar. Both the same amount of completions, or pardon me, attempts. Adrian 14 of 24, Alma 11 of 24. Adrian with 5 sacks on Zaborowski, Alma with just 1. It's really been a matter of Adrian taking advantage of the big play and Alma not coming up in spots where it needs to, especially in that third quarter.
And a big mark to mention, at halftime, Dan Hugan had 2 catches for 16 yards. In the third quarter alone, he had 6 catches for 107 yards. See if that pace continues here in the fourth quarter.
Certainly pays to get the ball into the hands of your playmaker. Hunter Ham now back into the game. 3rd and 4 for Adrian. He hands it off. And the first down is gotten as Chittenden makes the tackle 1 yard past the first down marker. D'Angelo Gaines having himself a day. (18 rushes, 81 yards for Gaines, averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Another big set here for Adrian. There's one receiver on the far side. Handoff. And it looks like this was number 29, Foster Walker. Walker with just his 5th carry of the day. 14 total yards now for him after gaining 2 on that last carry. 2nd and 8 from the 40 for Adrian.
And now a platoon swap for Adrian's offense. Not only are they looking to try to spread the ball out, but they're looking to put Hunter Ham back into the game.
Three wide receiver set, though none of them are Darius Fillon. On the out pass on the right side, this one falls incomplete. Pass broken up there by Chris Luckhurst, number 21.
And earlier we mentioned that Luckhurst wasn't even on the field for much of the first half. But his presence is definitely being felt here now as we enter the fourth quarter.
It's a big pass breakup, sets up a 3rd and long here for Adrian at their own 40. This will be the second one of the early stages of the fourth quarter here. Picked up the last one on a 3rd and 3 after a run. Foster Walker again in the backfield to the right of Hunter Ham. Can't imagine a run here. Ham looking into double coverage. Drops it into the bucket there. That one's caught by Jonick Charlemagne, freshman from Miami. That's his first reception of the game, and it was a huge one. Came on a 3rd and 8. There's a 37-yard gain there for Adrian, and that puts him in business at almost 23-yard line. Here's Hunter Ham, quick pass. Charlemagne not ready for that. When he turned around, the ball was just a few feet away from him. It bounced through his hands, looks like off his helmet as well. 13:07 on the clock, 2nd down and 10. Alma could certainly use a turnover here.
Absolutely, and that's something that they've managed to do throughout the season. They'll find turnovers where you'd never expect them to be. Did that multiple times to Trine last weekend. They did it to Hope early in that game until an unfortunate loss there. The Scots defense creates turnovers seemingly out of nothing.
Losing the turnover battle today, -1 after the Zaborowski interception in the end zone. Here is a handoff. That one to Walker once more. Got back to about the line of scrimmage or thereabouts, perhaps a gain of 1. Actually, a loss of 1. It'll be 3rd and 11 from almost 24. Again, this is the side of the field where the wind is blowing in the direction of the Adrian players here. So you have to wonder how far they have to go to attempt to kick if they're not comfortable with the spot right now.
You know, the wind will be a big issue, something to think about, but you also got to know, with it being 20-10, are they going to look to try to go for it anyway?
Adrian takes its 2nd timeout with 12:28 on the clock. Again, a 3rd and 11 from almost 24. You're right, Harrison, a field goal will only get them a 13-point lead, and obviously 2 touchdowns beat you in any case.
It's also important to take note, Adrian's kicker, Cameron Cook, is 4 for 6 on the year from 40 to 49 yards. So this is well within his range already, regardless of the wind. Because as it looks to us right now, it may have died down on the south end just enough for them to get a kick through.
It is perhaps a little early to also worry about the score. Again, just under 12 and a half minutes remaining in regulation. And you have to imagine Adrian will get the ball back at least twice more. So a field goal here, perhaps you get it down here again and kick another field goal, and should Alma not score, that's a 16-point deficit. So something to look for here is we have a 3rd and 11.
There are only 10 players on the field right now for Adrian, and
now
here comes
Walker.
Walker.
You can hear the coaches on the other side of the press box up here, a little upset with that, and that was picked off the hands of Jonick Charlemagne. And here comes up the near side Chittenden, and there's no one in front of him. Alma all of a sudden back in this game after a mistake from the Adrian offense.
2 weeks in a row with an interception for a touchdown. Last week, Luckhurst to close the game against Trine. This week, Jacob Chittenden gets one to put us right back into the game with Adrian. And all that talk about field goals, he never even got the chance to attempt it.
An amazing play by Chittenden. A little bit of in the right place at the right time and also taking advantage of the opportunity presented to him. That ball bounced right through the hands of Jonick Charlemagne, just as it did on first down. The kick from Plisco is good. And on first down, Charlemagne dropped the ball. Ended up as an incomplete pass. This time he wasn't as fortunate. Returned by Chittenden for a long touchdown. And the Scots are back to within 3.
And now a 3-point game with 12 minutes remaining. It's anybody's ball game at this point.
Absolutely.
And that also evens up the turnover margin for today after Zabrowski's interception down at that end in the end zone, possession before last. And then Chittenden's interception makes it an even turnover margin for today.
12-12 on the clock. Alma will be kicking off with the wind at their backs. Looks as though, well, at least Jacob Davis is back to receive the kick, and Darius Fillon is not. Can't tell exactly who it is on the near side. Actually, it looks like Jerron McGaw. So Jerron McGaw and Jacob Davis back to receive the kick for Adrian after the pick 6 by Chittenden. And Plisco back to send it to the Bulldogs. He'll likely try to get it through the end zone, I'd imagine. This one dangerous, goes out of bounds at the 3, and the Bulldogs will get it at the 40. So a mistake there by Plisco.
Kick out of bounds. On the kicking team, the receiving team has chosen to take the ball to the 35-yard line. First and 10.
So pardon me, Adrian will actually get it at the 35. No time ticks off the clock, still at 12-12. And this will be Stephen Millark. Still no Darius Fillon. Can't tell exactly. It looks like he's possibly talking to some trainers on the far sideline. In any case, it will be a pitch to Gaines. Stopped on the far side of the field after the toss, and he'll gain about 2 yards after the stop and forward progress.
The defense coming right back out after running all the way down the field for that touchdown a couple plays ago. You wondered if this D-line was going to be up to the task and ready to go endurance-wise for this drive to start. And this play showed that they are in good enough shape to just play on.
The adrenaline also has to be a little bit of a factor there, being back in this game just like that after the Chittenden pick. Hunter Ham now back in, 2nd and 8 from the 37. He hands off to Gaines, and he's stopped at the line. Gain of perhaps 1, up to about the 38. Clock approaching 11 minutes now. Another third down comes up for Adrian. Six of 13 on third downs now are the Bulldogs. And they'll go 5 wide. That includes Gaines, set up on the far side of the field. Quick throw, caught by McGaw and dropped after a gain of 2.
Senior Cody Coleman on the tackle. His coverage this year has been pretty good for the most part, and that's the best tackle he could make in that situation. He barely got within arm's reach, still managed to drag him down, cause a 4th down.
And that forces a punt here by Cameron Cook. Connor Storms, his 6th of the day. That one's blocked. Ball's picked up by Adrian at the 44, and that's where Alma will start their next drive. Just under 10 minutes to play. That's a huge block there by the Scots.
It sounds like the block is being credited to number 38, senior Ty Jensen. Ty Jensen, the Scots missed him last year, left the team to focus on his academics, got himself back into good shape there, came back for his senior season, and has been an effective part of the special teams for the Scots this year.
Puts Alma in great field position here. Again, just under 10 minutes to play. Alma set up at their own 44. Hugan on the far side of the field with Kella in the slot. Also Lars Murray set up in the backfield as Zaborowski's in the pistol. Hand off to Sullivan. Reads his blockers and gets about 8-9 yards.
It's interesting to see as of late, earlier in the season, the Scots seemed to be a first half kind of team. And now this past couple weeks, they're actually showing us the opposite.
Yeah, for the season, outscoring opponents 71-35 in the first quarter and 184-121 in the first half. Hand off to Sullivan, that's another first down. And in last week's game against Trine, started off down 23-0. Erased that deficit and came back with 41 points as opposed to 10 for the Thunder. Here's a rollout for Zaborowski. He's in trouble. He's going to unload this one to Hugan. Slips just through his hands. Coverage on the play by Robert Campbell. Second down and 10, 9:06 on the clock. Ball spotted on the Adrian 44. Another 3 wide set, as has been somewhat standard here for Alma in this game. Kozart, the tight end on the near side, and Sullivan, the back to Zaborowski's left. 2 on the play clock and a timeout. Scots forced to call that timeout, their first one of the half. After not getting the play in quickly enough, or perhaps saw Zaborowski looking toward the sideline. Or perhaps a different play after the cadence to get the defensive line to show their hand.
You know what else this timeout does? It gets everybody regrouped. You know, a lot of things have happened to the Scots so far in the last, half of a quarter. And they just need to get their heads together and make sure they're on the same page, and that's exactly what this timeout does. So even though on the onset it looks like this timeout might have been wasted for a delay of game penalty to be avoided, but at the same time this allows everybody to get back on the same page, keep their composure, and know that there's still plenty of time left in this game.
9:05 to be exact in regulation. The Scots down 3 with the wind at their back should they be in a field goal position as the clock continues to wind. Sullivan in motion to Zaborowski's left. Handoff comes to Sullivan. It's a sweep up the right side. Lowers the shoulder and gains about 3 out to the 41.
Brought down by Angus Arthur, but he gained about 3 yards. Third down and 7 from the 41.
Third down and 7 now. Same formation for Alma. Zaborowski pressured by 2 men, lays up a floater. No flags in the area, though Zaborowski hit the turf. And now a flag thrown. Zaborowski pointing at the defense. That was too far after the play to be anything related to the play. It had to be something said afterward, I would imagine.
You would assume, and the Adrian coaches on the other end of the press box are already thinking that it's Angus Arthur again.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
They didn't call a number there, but the Adrian coaching staff sounding like that they're already pretty upset with number 37, Angus Arthur. And this is his second 15-yard penalty of this game as well, after having a roughing the passer penalty on the previous offensive drive for Alma.
He exits the field now on the far sideline is Arthur, as the Scots come up with a huge third down conversion there thanks to the personal foul penalty. They're now at the 26-yard line, 1st and 10, 8:28 left in regulation. Caleb Reinhardt in the backfield, along with the usual 3 wide receiver set, along with Cozart in as the tight end. This is where Alma has found most of their success. Going up top to Murray, through his hands. Wide open up the seam, and Lars Murray let that one go.
It's not too often you see that happen with Lars. It's not too often you see a receiver that wide open. It's too good to be true almost. It's exactly what it was, too.
Totally split the D there, did Murray. Same formation, 2nd and 10 from the 26. Zaborowski in the pistol with Reinhardt behind him. Straight drop back, pass over the middle, short of the intended receiver, Hugan. In fact, the defender, Villalobos, had a better shot at making that catch than Hugan did. .8:18 on the clock, 3rd and 10. Reinhardt still in the game as opposed to Sullivan, set up to Zaborowski's left. The sun peeking behind some clouds. Zaborowski looking over the middle now, and that one is incomplete, intended for Esakella. Now a flag on the play.
Essa looking for a pass interference flag, and it looks like that might be exactly what he got.
Possibly on 17, Chris Adams.
Pass interference on the defense, number 1. Half the distance to the goal from the previous spot, 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
It's on Archie Nolan, also in coverage for Adrian on that play. That ball thrown a little bit behind Essa, and that kind of contributed to that call being made there, it seems.
And that's something Adrian does not want to see out of their senior defensive back, for sure.
Sets up Alma on the Bulldogs' 13-yard line. Sullivan back in the game as the running back to Zaborowski's left. They fake the handoff to him. It's Zaborowski up the middle, and he will gain about 4, maybe 5 yards inside the 10 to about the 8. Just under 8 minutes now as the Scots are in business, down 3. Only offensive touchdown of the game for Alma was a pass to Esekela on the other side of the field, a 13-yarder on 3rd down. Ten seconds on the play clock, and Zaborowski asking for a new play from the sidelines. Now under 5. Lars Murray set up in the backfield. The handoff is to Reinhardt, who carries the pile a few yards inside the 5 down at the 4. This will be a 3rd and 3. Alma can still gain a first down if they get inside the 1.
It's interesting to watch the way the offense uses Lars Murray. You know, he was just wide open there in the end zone a couple of plays ago as a slot receiver. This last time he motioned in as basically a fullback, as the way he's lined up right now. His versatility can prove to be pretty dangerous for a team that doesn't know what to do with him on defense.
Still in the backfield as the handoff goes to Reinhardt. Reinhardt runs the other way, and he's down inside the 1, very close to the end zone. But it looks like he is about a foot or so short.
But they will get the first down on that.
And the clock stops, now continuing to run as the ball gets spotted. As you said, Harrison, it is a first down, 1 yard to go as we approach 6.5 minutes remaining in regulation. Reinhardt still in the backfield. Handoff goes to him. He takes it in. Touchdown, Alma. They have their first lead of the game at 23-20.
And as the field goal unit comes out, Nick Sullivan does come out for this unit, and he is hobbling a little bit, so it looks like the Scots may be just conserving Sullivan for the rest of the game.
Sullivan missed the last few games due to injury. Obviously not serious enough to prevent him from playing on this senior day. The kick by Plisco up and good. And the Scots have a 2-possession lead. Pardon me, just a 1-possession lead, but that forces Adrian to score a touchdown as opposed to a field goal with 6:20 remaining. And obviously Adrian playing down to the south end of the field, also where the sun is overhead right now, makes it difficult to kick a field goal on that end of the field anyway. Have not seen any of Darius Fillon since he seemed to have twisted up one of his legs a few possessions ago for Adrian. Again, the leading receiver for this Bulldog team coming into the game, and also had a huge first half. 6 receptions, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns for Fillon in the game. Plisco kicks off here. This one will go through the end zone, as neither McGaw nor Davis will be able to handle that one. Much better kick by Plisco than his last attempt that went out of bounds. .620 remaining on the clock. Ball will be spotted at the 25, 1st and 10 for Adrian. Looks like Caleb Reinhardt getting worked on by the athletic training staff on the near sideline.
And just a moment ago, Dan Hugan was right there with him and has since been treated and sent back to the sideline.
Yeah, Hugan looks just fine. Talking with Esekela a little bit, and Caleb Reinhardt looks like he's just getting his ankles retaped. This one intended for Jonick Charlemagne. Surprised by that one as he turned, and it was, again, just a few feet away from him. Able to haul that one in for a gain of roughly 9 yards, and that'll set up a 2nd down and 1 from the 34. Only mentioned Charlemagne's name in this 4th quarter. And it has been a little sweet and a little sour for him. Caught a 37-yard bomb. This one is caught by him, working on again, number 27, Colin Smith.
You know, you mentioned him being a little sweet, a little sour. He's got that catch that you're talking about, but then he also was the target on the tipped interception by Chittenden that went back for a touchdown.
Yeah, and dropped a pass on essentially the same route, the exact same way, except it fell to the turf as opposed to falling into Chittenden's hands. Here's a 1st and 10. Pass out wide to McGaw. Swallowed up by the Alma D. There were 4 defenders around there. And perhaps he gained a yard, maybe a foot or so. 5 minutes remaining in regulation. Adrian down for the first time in this game, and the ball spotted at almost 44. 2nd and 10.
Now I see a substitution on the D-line. Joe Hernandez, the big nose, comes out and comes in Cameron Lee. A little bit more speed there for the D-line without giving up a whole lot of strength.
Still no fill on. 1-step drop, and this one over the head of Charlemagne. Defended nicely by Luckhurst. It'll be a 3rd down and 10 at the Alma 44.
And just as I mentioned Cam Lee coming in, they're bringing out a little bit more speed with number 97, Dylan Bergman, a freshman from Williamston.
One back, one tight end for Adrian. 4-man rush. Pass over the middle. Caught by McGaw. Across the 20 and tackled down by Chittenden at about the 16-yard line. 4:27 on the clock. And Adrian set up now on the 16. Series of long routes run on that play, and Ham was able to find McGaw right up the seam, over the head of the linebackers, and just between 2 defensive backs. Now a big set here, as this is Millark handing it off to Gaines. Gaines gets a few. 3 to be exact. Ball now placed at the 13. We're just under 4 minutes to go in regulation. Justin Thalen exiting the field for Alma.
They're bringing out another defensive lineman here in hopes to combat the big set that Adrian just came out with.
Two backs, 2 tight ends for the Bulldogs. It's a pitch to the outside. And perhaps gaining 1 is Foster Walker. Clock ticking. We're approaching 3 minutes remaining in regulation. No sense yet where the ball's placed. Now it's at the 10. 3rd down and 3.
And if they don't get it here, there's no sense in them kicking the field goal in this situation. You will see them go for it on 4th down if they do not get this conversion here.
2:50 left. Hunter Ham back in the game. 5 wides. Ham gets dropped. The right arm of Cameron Lee brings him down. Let's see if it's enough for a first. It is. Ball spotted at the 6. Approaching 2:30 in regulation. Millard comes back into the game. Quarterback likely to hand it off. D'Angelo Gaines in the backfield. He's got 84 yards on 20 rushes. His 21st is stopped by Alma at about the 3, perhaps the 4. 2:10 on the clock. And it will be 2nd down and goal from the 4. Joe Hernandez coming back into the game. Nose tackle, run stuffer replaces Cameron Lee. Millark back in the game as well at quarterback for Adrian. He's thrown 2 passes today, completed them both. For the most part, been handing it off. Here's another one to Gaines up the middle. Gets down inside the 1-yard line. 90 seconds remaining, and the clock is now stopped. Alma has called a timeout. Must be difficult for the Alma defense. You've got a quarterback in there who has completed 2 passes when he's in. You know the run is coming. You see they're in a big set. And D'Angelo Gaines still able to gain at least 4 yards a carry.
Hold on. Turn up. He just has to reset. Turn up. He's going to say it again.
Minute 30 on the clock, but the refs might be resetting it here. 3rd down and 1 from the 1-yard line.
Game clock operator, please put 1 minute, 31 seconds on the clock.
They'll add a 2nd back. Millark still in the game. 2 backs, 2 tight ends. It's D'Angelo Gaines with a fullback in front of him. It is a quarterback sneak. No call yet. One referee with his hands in the air, and there it is. Touchdown, Adrian, on a 3rd down quarterback sneak by quarterback Stephen Millark. Gets them the lead back 26-24. And an extra point will force Alma to kick a field goal to tie with, again, 1:22 remaining.
Please put the game clock set to 1 minute, 28 seconds.
1:28 on the clock. That play took just 3 seconds.
And now 1:28 does leave enough time for an offense to get down the field. You just have to make sure that nobody makes any mistakes as we get to the end of this game.
Certainly this kick, too, means quite a bit. Goes through the uprights. And the Bulldogs' lead is now 3, 27-24.
All right, guys, here this goes. Because we have this kind of, we need silence, okay? Unless you're talking, and call out plays so that we can make sure game clock
Luckhurst and Hugan, as usual, back to receive the kick. Cameron Cook to put it in the air. They give it to Hugan. Takes it at about the 3. Blockers in front of him, makes one man miss, gets out past the 20 to about the 21. 1:24 on the clock. The Scots have 1 timeout to work with.
You know, they go up tempo from time to time, even when they don't need to. The Scots offense can change how fast they want to get up and down the field whenever they would like to. And this is the time for them to do it.
This is potentially the last offensive drive of the season for Alma. They set up with Caleb Reinhart in the backfield, 3 receivers. 4 receivers. To screen to Hugan on the left side. Blockers in front. He's fast. Got some room in front of him. Now nobody in front of him. A man trying to close the gap, and Hugan is out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
And that screen could not have been blocked any better than the way Drew Burton drew it up.
They've hit a few deep balls today, not too many screens, but they used the speed of Dan Hugan in a spot where they needed him the most. And he took him way down the field, inside the 10, out of bounds at the 7, 70 seconds remaining. And Alma is in business.
And now with how fast that play went, Adrian could get the ball back, and this could just keep going back and forth.
For now, it's a 2-back set. Zaborowski looking right. And that pass incomplete. Intended for tight end Jacob Shields. It's the second red zone look he's gotten today. Jacob Plisco getting ready on the sideline, 2nd and 7, 1:05 remaining. His services will absolutely be needed should the Scots not be able to come up with these 7 yards in the next 2 plays.
And so they're going to have to decide a play early if they would like to have Plisco kick, because the wind is already going towards the right side of the offense, so they can't be on the right hash to kick the field goal.
Here's a keeper by Zaborowski. He's inside the 5, but dropped at about the 3 by a host of Bulldogs. The clock will tick. Smart play call as we are approaching 50 seconds. Two receivers, 2 backs, 1 tight end. Hugan set up on the far side. Lars Murray in the slot. That's Cozart in motion. The handoff is to Reinhardt up the middle. Lowers the shoulder. He's in!
And now a flag has been thrown after the play, most likely some sort of unsportsmanlike penalty. And usually in this situation, it's on the scoring team. So let's see who it is.
Despite the score, definitely not what you're looking for Alma.
Touchdown count. After the play on sportsmanlike conduct, number 6 of Adrian, that will be enforced on the kickoff.
So that works out quite well for Alma. Get the score. They're up 3 at this point. Jacob Plisco on to make this a 4-point game. Caleb Reinhardt with his 2nd rushing touchdown on 11 touches. The kick is up and good. It's a 4-point lead for Alma, 31-27 with 23 seconds remaining. And they'll also be able to attempt this kickoff with a 15-yard penalty added on.
And usually in this situation with 15 extra yards for the kickoff, you want to just tell your kicker to kick it as far away as possible to make sure it just goes out of the back of the end zone and that no return can be done. However, my own personal view would be to have Plisco get underneath the ball a little bit more, keep it up in the air, make the returners grab it just inside of the end zone, run some more time off of the clock, and also have your kick coverage get down there in time to make it a really short return.
Yeah, I agree with you. You can either have him kick right out the back of the end zone, which is much easier now, despite his being able to do it prior to 15-yard penalties being added. That also takes no time off the clock, and you're sitting here with 23 seconds. You could potentially pin Adrian inside the 20. As Plisco will kick off from midfield. Should this score hold, it will be Alma's 2nd comeback victory in as many weeks. They were down 17 in this game, 20-3 at halftime. And this one is way out of the end zone. 23 seconds Adrian will have to work with to go along with one timeout. Hunter Ham comes out along with Foster Walker, it looks like. Also back on the field. No, pardon me, that would be Gaines in the slot, not Phil on. 23 seconds, Ham looking deep. He's dropped and nearly picked off by the senior Cody Coleman there. Looked like that was Tripp who got a hit on Ham. 18 seconds remaining. Second down and 10 for Adrian. Scott's already starting to feel the wind. They're 18 seconds away from it officially. Four-man rush, and Tripp gets to him. 10 seconds. No, 11 seconds as Adrian takes their final timeout.
With what you assume to be one play left, maybe two if it's an incomplete pass, Troy Game's still a half a sack short of Terry Calgon, and last week he ended the Trine game on a sack. So if we see that again, he will end up passing last year's graduate Calgon.
And Adrian not really in a position to set up for any sort of short pass, even a screen. 11 seconds left. Adrian, Alma with three guys now 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage. "12 seconds on the clock. They've added another second.
Sometimes in this situation we would see Dan Hugan come out onto the field and play center field for the Scots, but not this time.
Pass relatively short and out of bounds with about a 15, 16-yard gain is Jonick Charlemagne. And that is good for a first down. And now here comes what you would assume to be the Hail Mary pass with 8 seconds left and the ball spotted on almost 37-yard line. Charlemagne is out there for the Bulldogs in the slot, as well as Tate Honeycutt on the near side. They go far side. That one falls incomplete. Still some time on the clock, 5 seconds. Again, Adrian opting to take what the defense gives them, and Alma is certainly giving them a lot. Obviously, these yards don't matter. You don't want them to get in the end zone here. But you figure this will be the last play. 5 seconds left. Second down and 10 at the 37. 4 wide. Here comes Ham. Goes to the near side, Gaines. And they're going to try some laterals. Back to Charlemagne. Back to Ham. Over to the near side. This is Derrer. And that one is lateral backward. Taken by senior defensive captain Justin Thalen. And this game is over. Scots erase a 17-point deficit. Come back and defeat the Adrian Bulldogs 31-27. They finish with 7 wins on the year, 7-3 overall. That's the most wins in Greg Piscadna's tenure. The most since 2004 when the Scots won the MIAA title, and 7 wins for the 14th time now in program history.
And kind of a footnote for that last play, that gives Alma another positive turnover margin for another game this season with Justin Thalen's fumble recovery.
Alma showing the resolve they showed last week at Trine. A come-from-behind victory, 41-33. They were down 23-0. Dylan Zaborowski engineered the game-winning drive, a 15-play, 82-yard drive. Took 5.5 minutes. With that, he won the Conference Offensive Player of the Week. Comes back this week. The stats might not necessarily be there, but you know what? He got it done when they needed to. Dan Hugan, star wide receiver, comes up when they need him to. Alma showing the resolve that they have shown the past few weeks, come away with the big win. "19 of 29 is Zaborowski through the air, 263 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. Caleb Reinhart with 2 rushing touchdowns. Nick Sullivan, 14 carries, 83 yards, nearly 6 yards a carry. Danny Hugan in his final game of the season, 9 catches, 194 yards, longest being a 71-yard reception, and also had a nearly 71-yarder on the screen pass to set them up for the final score in the final minute of the game. Lars Murray also with 2 catches, 55 yards, a huge drop that really goes forgotten. Zach Peterson, 14 tackles in the game. 104 for the season. Have to see where that stacks up in the conference, but that's his second straight season of tallying 100-plus tackles. Had a team high 104 last year, and again, Peterson, just a junior, I believe, this year. Something to look forward to, despite losing a number of seniors on defense for this Alma team next year.
And this game just as a whole, you know, statistics aside, it being senior day, this is the senior class that the Alma football program really should be giving credit to for the way this program has turned around. 7 wins this year, you mentioned it. They're the 14th best team now, at least, in Scott's history. You add that to this being the best season under Coach Piscadna's reign here. And when he got here, his first season, they went 1-9. So it hasn't taken long to turn this team into a title contender.
You mentioned this win being for the seniors. 2 seniors on defense in particular coming up big. Obviously Chittenden with the huge pick 6 to get them back into the game at 20-17. And then the final play of the game, Justin Thalen sort of picking off this lateral attempt, getting to the ground and throwing the ball away in exuberant victory. As Alma defeats Adrian for the first time since 2005. 0 for their last 9. Now improve their all-time record against the Bulldogs to 47-30-1.
What this game really means now going forward, given that this is the last game of the year, is there were some other names out here in this game that really showed their importance for the future. Of course, Dylan Zaborowski, he's been playing here the last 3 years as a starter. His senior season is going to mean a lot. Very, very young offensive line. Hopefully the retention is there as it has been before, or has not been before. And then also there's a nice rotation on the defensive line as well now with Dustin Tripp, hopefully taking that next step to taking Troy Games' place.
And you got a few linebackers there as well. Mentioned Zach Peterson.
Dallas Reeser, Colton Tyson. Reeser being a sophomore, Colton Tyson another junior. This team is definitely going to be more of a veteran team next year. Expect them to be very competitive in the conference.
Particularly with the senior seasons of Zaborowski and Danny Hugan, 2 of the big-time players on offense. And although you lose Nick Sullivan to graduation, you still retain Caleb Reinhart. Grant Wilson also being lost as a senior. He had a huge game last week at Trine. So like you said, you lose a number of seniors, but obviously the future has been set up with the recruiting classes. Juniors now becoming seniors and taking a hold of this team. And, as we mentioned, you see the resolve that has been evident the last few games, and that's certainly something to build on as we look forward to 2017.
A lot to be optimistic about as an Alma Scott. And so now as we close, a big shout out to our producer, Stephen Kipp, right here next to us. And then up top on the press box, our cameramen, Zach Bosley and Sam Swem. like to thank everybody for producing this and letting us, talk your ear off for a couple hours.
Yeah, and thank you, listeners, very much for sticking with us. It's been a relatively rough year as far as webcasting goes, but we're happy to be on the air for this final day of the football season, the senior day, and we look forward to you guys continuing to join us throughout the winter sports and spring sports, I should say, as basketball season starts up in just a few days. So the final score here at Bahlke Field on Senior Day, Alma Scots 31, Adrian Bulldogs 27. Alma erases a 17-point deficit. For Harrison Lalone, my name is Zach Russo. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. Have a great day.